My husband has always liked bringing his friends home to drink. I didn't like it, I was always the one who started the fight to stop it. But after so much insistence, I started to like it, and now the problem is mine. My husband really liked the saying, "Don't bring your friends to your wife's house." It happened. My husband was always one of those who liked to get together with friends, bring them home for a barbecue, some beers, and blast music. He always told me, Before we continue, please give me a like, it doesn't cost you anything, and subscribe to the channel to enjoy all our videos. Let's continue. Here, or I'll go out into the street. You'll see what you prefer, a husband who's present or absent. At least here you know what I'm doing, what I'm drinking, what I'm watching. And I would go and lie down to sleep because I didn't like that atmosphere. And I would tell him, okay, fine, it's okay, nothing's wrong. I allowed many things in my life. One day I learned to listen. My friend told me, well, go and have fun. You get very bitter, you shut yourself away. He's a more open man. You two are a very different couple. But you can reach his level. Go ahead and integrate, and that happens, those are the moments you want to be living, these stages of life, and I listened to him and started staying with him there, sharing with his friends. Whenever I woke up, before I started to integrate into those parties, whenever I woke up I would find one or two of his friends sleeping in the living room, the others would leave and my husband would be there with them. So I knew that they would always fall asleep, so I would go and join them and I would say when I saw them falling asleep, I would send them off and so on. I did it several times. I saw that everyone was like, oh, like the remote was falling, the beer was spilling. So I'd say, why don't you go to sleep? And I'd order an Uber and take them out. But one day the party started getting more lively. I started drinking beer, got up, and started dancing with them, and my husband said, are you going to stay here with us? I said, yes, yes, yes. He said, I'm going to the bathroom. When I went upstairs because he'd been gone for a while, my husband had already fallen asleep, and the party was really going well. It was in the air. So I left him there sleeping and got out and kept going. And I met up with 3 of his friends that day. 2 of his friends left, and I stayed with one of them, the one I kind of clicked with the most, and things happened. I didn't go all the way with him that night, but there were kisses, there was touching. Then I thought, no, this can't be happening. I'm a little tipsy, and I left. I locked myself in my room and let him sleep. And the next day, like nothing had happened, there were several get-togethers, and I ended up hooking up with him. The boy, because it kept happening after this boy stopped coming to the house. He said he felt ashamed in front of his best friend, that he shouldn't have done that, and he left. Then other friends came along. The same thing happened with this other friend, but with him I gave myself to him and we continued a relationship. I got pregnant and I was wondering if it was his or my husband's because my husband is a man who, the next day after he wakes up with a hangover, he's very active. So he would look for me and I would. Before, I had been with his friend, and it was always like that with him and his friend. So I didn't know who the father was as my pregnancy progressed. I kept telling my husband not to bring any more people home, that I was pregnant and couldn't drink, and he kept saying yes, that he liked it. Then, when he saw that I didn't want him bringing people home, he would go and drink in the street or on the corner or at the store, and he wouldn't come home. And I would tell him, I'm going to eat, and I started spending a lot of time with his friend because we both had doubts about whether or not he was the father of my son, and I had told him, I'm with you and also with my husband. Then, I don't know, but he started dedicating time to me. We'd go out to eat, and on Sundays, when my husband went to play soccer or ride his bike or work shifts at his company, his friend would dedicate time to me, time that my husband never had. And don't tell me it's because he was working to support you, because my husband didn't. I was often doing what he knew how to do to be happy because he always told me, I'm happy. What harm am I doing to people with this? And as I spent more time with this person, a feeling also grew. Because at first, I was clear that it was just like, well, passing the moment and that's it, but then the feeling increased and I realized that I had fallen in love with my husband's friend, but the other friend, the one I told you about, with whom at first there were kisses and things, and then it stopped and he said, no, not me. I could do this to my friend, and he distanced himself. That friend found out because this other person, with whom I was already in a relationship, was drinking one day when they asked him to play a song for her. He sent the audio, and the friend realized it was meant for me. So he asked him what was going on, and he told him, don't get involved with this woman, and she's pregnant. He told him everything, and then this person called me to complain. He told me I was a whore, that I was the worst, asking why it hadn't worked out with him. So, I had done it with the other friend and I told him it worked with you, it was that you distanced yourself, that I was the worst. I told him maybe yes, maybe no, but he brought those people to my house. I got tired of telling him not to bring them. And well, alcohol isn't our best friend. Things happened and I fell in love. He said, I'm going to tell my friend. I said, tell him. And while you're at it, tell him that you were also with me at his house. That friend distanced himself and my husband went into a depression of friendship that the friend had distanced himself. I didn't even know why something was happening. I'm talking about the friend who distanced himself, the one I didn't know was the father of my child. Why? Because the other friend threatened him. My husband's other friend told him he had to leave if he came near me again. And since that first friend, the one with whom I had my first affair, the first time I cheated on my husband, had already distanced himself a bit, my friend fell into a depression. He said that because of me, because they had seen me with the baby bump, nobody wanted to be around him. He and I told him, well then, just focus on me. We're going to have our child. I was willing to give up my feelings for that friend of his who had drifted away, to let my child grow up with him, to refuse DNA tests, to create our child, and if there was any doubt, let it be only mine. He was the father of my child, but he didn't. He kept insisting and came back and gathered his friends for a birthday party. When this happened, my baby was already born, and he came back and brought all 3 of them to the house, 2 of them with whom I had had children. Well, it was a mess when he brought them home. I felt things again for the father, well, the one I thought was the father of my son, or didn't know, the one I was unsure about. Those feelings were rekindled at that moment. You might say, oh, poor thing, the weak one, but it happens. Just like it happens to men, it happens to us too. And this relationship happened again that same night because, as usual, my husband fell asleep, went to bed, and I was downstairs with his friends. His friend who? He had threatened the other man to stay away, saying, I'm leaving for good. You're not going to change. Do what you want, I'm leaving. He was also announcing that he was leaving the country. He told me, woman, be careful because you don't know what your husband is capable of. That man who's sleeping is capable of anything. It's better that you both take care of yourselves. And he left. We never heard anything from that man again. Then this friend of my husband told me to do a DNA test. There, the 2 of them, him drunk, said to me. He felt my son was his and wanted to do a DNA test the next day. We arranged an appointment, talked more, he saw the child, met him, loved him, and said there was something that drew him to him, and that it was the blood he wanted to have tested. We went to a medical center, they performed the DNA test, and it came back negative. So I said, I can rest. Why? Because he's my husband's, and I don't have any more problems. My husband never found out, and I found the means to get my son a DNA test. My husband, because I said, let's not do it, and I took the test with my husband, and it came back negative. And I kept saying, but why is that impossible? I was only with the 2 of them in a constant relationship. But I remembered that unlike that friend who had said goodbye to me, that friend who had made the other one run away from our lives, it hadn't even been a month since I'd been with my husband and the other guy. So I had the need to find him out because there was doubt about whether he could be the father, but it was something I had to. I studied because a month had passed, the dates didn't add up, nothing added up, that man never appeared, and I wrote to him and told him I sent him the 2 DNA tests and I said it could only be you, and he said, well, leave it to your husband because I'm not going to show up there, I'm not going to recognize it, I saw you but I don't remember, and he distanced himself from the other friend who had taken the DNA test that came back negative, who said that the blood was strong and that he felt it was his child. Well, I told him it was my husband's, I never confessed the truth to him and he walked away and left, and only my husband and that man who disappeared know that my son isn't my husband's and that there are games one should never get involved in. My husband adores that child. What a thing, he adores him. And now he's being responsible, now he doesn't drink anymore. Now he comes home because he says he has someone to spend time with. So that's where I'm left wondering. What am I to him if he didn't spend good time with me, if he didn't like coming home? What am I? But oh well, there he is now, he's happy, now he's left his friends. On one hand, I don't want to justify myself, there are things one does sometimes without even knowing why, or alcohol always plays its part. But I don't know if this secret will last forever because what if, at some point, that man I'm looking for decides to be an exemplary father and shows up wanting to do DNA tests? But I also wonder, medically speaking, how was this scientifically possible? How did it happen that a month later I got pregnant, but not by the people I was with at that time? It's like, oh no, this was all stored away, and no, I can't understand. The thing is, my son isn't the son of either of the 2 people I thought he was, but rather the son of the person who left with the first one who made a mistake, and of the person who made the decision to leave for good. I don't need you to acknowledge it either. My husband is happy with his son, and he's happy with his father, and that's how we're all happy. But I ask myself, what does one person have to go through for the other to finally settle down? And many will tell me, oh no, you always kept your position, why? Because you were a woman. Because I'm a woman, what I have weighs more than what a man has. Oh, that's rubbish, that's something they want to impose on us. But the reality is the same, men and women will look the same wherever they stand.